Welcome back to Business Inspiration, still with Coach Cynthia and Andi Sjarif, Group CEO of SITTI. And now, with all the excitement with internet, here's what I do. I want to be everywhere, I want to do everything, and then I spend a lot of time with no results. What's your advice?
Look, if you talk to a traditional marketer or advertiser, the two things that's important for them is reach and frequency. Not these TV guys.
Reach and frequency. Yeah.
In the internet, I will argue the two things most important is context and relevancy. Here's why. Every internet user go to a website have a very powerful thing that can pretty much shut you down. It's called back button.
Oh.
Huh?
Yes.
So if you go to an internet page, you want to look for Irfan Badim, so you're a fan of Irfan Badim, right? The soccer guy, right? You go there and suddenly there's a story about Luna Maya.
Back.
What do? You hit back button.
Because it's not relevant.
It's not relevant to you. So because there's over 600 million pages on the internet, if you don't count the other 600 million that is owned by multinational companies like Google and things like that, it's about 1 billion pages. And people can go everywhere, long tails, right? It's so important to be relevant and contextual relevant to the reader. So in the internet, what's important is not how many pair of eyes see it, but how many right pair of eyes see it.
That's right.
You see. You know, so, and this is why a methodology like what SITTI implement, the contextual advertising, or what Google implement with their search-based marketing, is that it's matching intent. If I want to read about soccer, give me an ad about soccer. If I want to read about car, give me an ad about car. I want to read about a car, I don't want to see an ad about flowers. It's as simple as that.
So you actually study the reading habits of people on the internet?
Not only study. My machine actually reads 50,000 articles in 1 second and decide if it should produce 50,000 different advertising in the same second on the internet, based on that relevancy. We produce 15 million ads every day based on relevancy. You know, so we don't only produce so someone see the ads, but it's a conversation, you see.
Yeah.
What the big shift in the internet and traditional is that it went from a campaign, one way, to a conversation. Now, what SITTI does for SMEs or for medium-sized businesses, essentially, we're having that conversation online every day with users via this machine. You know, that's what Google does all the time. 2.7 billion search was done in this country on Google.com alone.
Wow.
That's 2.7 billion times people are looking for something. So when I'm looking for shoes, don't give me cars. If I'm looking for cars, don't give me flowers. So that's what SITTI as a machine has done. And I think in the future, anything about the internet has to be based on these two things, context and relevancy.
What do you mean by context? We talked about relevancy.
Relevancy, relevancy is in relation to you as a reader, right? Context is on that particular page, on that particular conversation. What is the context of it? So the machine has to understand enough, meaning this. Shoes can have two contexts. Sports shoes, female fashion shoes. Two different contexts. So the machine has to understand enough about what context is this shoes being talked about. You know, so the job of SITTI's engine for advertisers and for our clients is essentially to make sure that the advertising is not wasted. A long time ago, I forgot who said it, years ago, someone smart enough says that 50% of my advertising are wasted. I just don't know which 50%. Yeah. Well, guess what? In the traditional media, that happens all the time. In the internet, if that happens to you, you're not doing something right.
So what does a business, a business owner or a marketer, what do they need to give you meaning SITTI, yeah, before you can start connecting them with the right...
Actually,
what do they need to know?
Actually, it's quite simple. What they have to do is just go to SITTI Co-ID, actually. so they have to do. And they just need to put in the product they want to sell. So in other words, if you want to sell shoes, you put in shoes, keyword shoes on our system, our engine, SITTI 359 is what it's called. You put shoes there, and then the machine will say, okay, if you're selling shoes, these are all the keywords you should use for campaign for your shoes. So it already knows what keywords related to what other keywords in the whole universe of the internet, essentially. You know, so it's actually quite a simple process. You know.
And shoes, it's like high-end shoes, low-end shoes. Both are fashion things, but your engine would be able to determine which target market would be looking at.
Because I tell you what, they talk about it differently.
Oh, really?
The words that's being used and the frequency and what you call collocation of words, just getting to be technical here, but essentially how those words are being described are quite different. You know, Converse being talked about more than Nike, how weird is that? It's not weird, because the buyers of Converse tend to be those young kids,
that talk
you know.
a lot more than
exactly, they like really talk about it all the time, you know. Nike is shoes, it's great shoes, but Converse is like a lifestyle, you know, this young guys. So they talk about it a lot more. So the way they talk about Converse and shoes, as two different brands, right, are quite different from one another, significantly different. So this applies to everything, including if I compare to you to say Ernesto Ardono or other coach, you know, I can map all you guys and determine, okay, how are they being talked about differently? I'm talking about a person here, you know. So the point is that we need to know, we need to join the conversation. So instead of trying to push message, brands, big companies, small companies, in the internet, you should try to join the conversation.
Do it in-house or outsource? What's your recommendation? Because not a lot of people at this point knows how to do this.
Yes, the problem is I think at this point there's a lot of companies spring up who are doing this. I think you should probably think about talking to those companies. Because internally it'd be a bit difficult, I think. I don't see anybody right now at this point that has internal capability to do something like this.
So last question.
Sure.
What's the legacy that Andi Sjarif wants to leave behind by getting into this space?
I think the legacy is, wow, that's a tough question to answer, but I think my simple answer would be, I have a 4-year-old named Rania, my princess, and I think my legacy would be her waking up one day when she's 18, 19, thinking that I made a difference somehow to this country, and it is her duty to actually be better than me. Probably that.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, second last question.
Okay.
What legacy do you want SITTI to leave behind, and where's the future holding for SITTI, and what's that legacy?
Not to sound Obama-like, but I hope SITTI legacy would be loosely. SITTI legacy would be that, you know, yes, we can. You know, SITTI is a complete local product. We're going ahead. We're going head to head against the biggest, the best player in the world, and that's Google. We're going to get crushed, but we're okay. You know, this is completely made in Indonesia. We are, you know, we're mastering our own domain, I suppose. You know, you have to be a bit crazy to do something like this at the end of the day. I think you have to be a bit nuts. That's why I would say that modal dasar SITTI is 2 things: nekat sama teh botol. 2 things. Because those are the 2 things we have more than Google, right? I mean, Google is like, Google have 20,000 people, we have 40. You know, they got 6,000 servers, we have 6. You know, they got 1,000 PhD, and we got like, you know, 1, and it's not even finished for the past 6 years. You know, so it's like, you know, and I remember the first year we did this, we're still a startup, and we did a head-to-head test against Google at platform. We won in Indonesian language. We beat them in almost every matrix and category. If any Google guy watching this, hi. But, you know, because we're a startup and without a VC backing, so it was something else, you know, so we're proud of that. So whatever it is, no one can take that away from us. We're a proud company, but we're a startup, we're small. Anyway, sometimes we don't even get our salary paid sometimes, you know, but that's startup. That's part of technology startup. So, you know, but the legacy of SITTI would be that, yes, we can. I think if you put your mind into it, and you have the right vision, and you have people, the right people in it, with the same belief system and hard work, ultimately I think vision and hard work breeds perfection, and we're striving for that.
And you've made your first step, or maybe not even your first step, another step forward. And I forgot to mention this up front, but congratulations for being one of the GEPI winners.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes.
You make Indonesia proud.
Thank you.
And yeah, so that wraps up our show. And I'd like to thank again, Andi, to you to share this insight. And I think we've got a new twist here because, again, it's not just about using the internet to build your business, but using the internet wisely. And from this conversation, I get a sense that what we are using now, I mean, the major population is probably only less than 5% of what's out there. And it's about talking to the right people, understanding what is your market, target market, and understanding what words are being searched by those target markets and the frequency in order to build up your marketing campaign. Definitely exciting times ahead. And for me included, for my business, and we need to talk after this. Yeah, but definitely the internet is the way to go. And if you are not already on board with that, please do. And I hope this segment of Business Inspiration has inspired you to do so. So catch us next time with more inspiring stories, with more inspiring people. I'm Coach Cynthia from Business Inspirations. I'll see you next time.